All right, so you were talking about disqualified persons. Who are these disqualified people?
Okay, Mitch, you got your cup of coffee. Let's go through this list.
Right, we got a big list?
Yeah, this is going to be a snoozer. Number one, anyone who's a fiduciary to the plan. So, like you said in the other one, if you're not the trustee and someone else is the trustee, they have to comply by the prohibited transaction
So
rules.
they're disqualified.
They're disqualified.
Yeah.
So the trustee to the plan, a fiduciary, anyone providing services to the plan. So if you got an accountant doing something for it, they're going to be a disqualified person. Next, any employer. So the employer, the company that sponsors the retirement plan. So if I have Tim Berry Incorporated and it's the one who says it's my retirement plan, they're going to be disqualified to it. My company can't engage in transactions with my retirement
plan.
Next, an owner of 50% or more of the company that sponsors the retirement plan. So since I'm the owner of Tim Berry Incorporated, I own greater than 50%, I can't engage in a transaction with the retirement plan. And by the way, this 50% thing is kind of tricky because there is one court case where a guy only owned, I think, 13% of a company and he was making loans over to that. They busted him and said, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. I only own 13% of the company. They said, yeah, but you're using the income or the assets of the plan for your personal benefit. It's a little catch-all. We don't care about the stinking percentages. And this is what a lot of people can't get through their head. They point and scream and yell at me about the code says 50%. I said, that's cool. That's what the code says. But you got to understand all the various court cases that reinterpret the code too. And there's that one case out there at 13%. Let's be safe and not do it.
Okay.
But then they go out and do it anyway.
Well, at least they were informed.
Yeah, at least they were informed. Next one, a member of the family of a disqualified person. So I'm disqualified to my plan, and members of my family are disqualified as well. Now let's talk about who's considered a family member. Family members are going to be considered my ancestors and my kids, my offspring.
So it's linear. So your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather is disqualified. Your son, your daughter, your grandkids
are disqualified.
But your aunts and uncles
are not
disqualified.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. So because family is a big, broad stroke of a word. So it's just like your linear family.
Correct.
You know?
Correct. And the spouses of them as well.
Yeah, mom and dad's.
Correct.
Grandpa, grandma.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
But like you said, aunt, uncle, not disqualified. Brother, sister, not disqualified. Step kids, step relationships, not disqualified. So that's the definition of family.
Oh, brother, sister's not disqualified. That's interesting.
Crazy, isn't it?
So you could get your brother or your sister to help you out, or you can buy houses for them, or whatever. You can deal with them, but because they're not linear; they're to the side, right?
Yeah. Now here's an interesting quick side note here. Earlier we talked about how these aren't under the supervision of the Department of Labor. These aren't ERISA plans; they're only IRS plans. Whenever they wrote up these rules, they said for the Department of Labor type of plans, they said a related party will be anybody in who your judgment is clouded as a fiduciary. So if you had a close friend or what have you, they'd say, oh, that's a disqualified person because your judgment as a fiduciary could be clouded. So the IRS went and they grabbed that language and they put it in some of their regulations. So theoretically that would, wipe out brothers and sisters.
Well, theoretically that could wipe out anybody.
Theoretically, but here's the interesting thing. Whenever Congress writes these laws, they give explanations of why they put that in there. And they specifically said in the explanation of this section that this was not to apply for the tax code. So the IRS is overreaching by putting that inside the regulations. It's probably not valid for the IRS, where it is for the Department of Labor. We only have IRS plans, so we can probably engage in the transactions with the brother, the sister, the aunt, the uncle. That kind of makes sense?
Yeah.
It's a little bit convoluted there, but...
No, I get it. I get it. So
we got some safety there. Next is a corporation, a partnership, or a trust, of which 50% or more is owned by the disqualified person. We talked about that. Here's another one. An officer or a director or somebody similar who is a 10% or more shareholder or a highly compensated employee of any of those people we talked about. So if you got Tim Berry Incorporated and you got a key employee or somebody who owns 10% of that, they're going to be considered a disqualified person as well through this little catch-all provision. And there's even an even sneakier one, and this is the last one. A 10% or more partner or joint venturer of one of those named people. So I set up my 401k plan. I'm doing deals. I have a business partner off to the side that's more than a 10% business partner. My retirement plan cannot engage in transactions with them. And I see a lot of people do this. You know, the business partners each have their own separate plans and they're doing deals back and forth and going crazy with it. Well, this is a little catch-all provision that's going to wipe them out on that. And this is, once again, I don't know what it is. A lot of people, you explain this to them, they get upset and they want to argue with you. You say, hey, dude, it's black and white and said the code. Do what you want to. So there's some little catch-all provisions out there.
So it says key employee.
Yeah.
How do you define that?
If you have key person insurance on that person, chances are they're a key employee.
Okay.
If they're responsible for a lot of income earned by your company, chances are they're a key employee.
What if they're like a secretary?
I don't want to be a pig about things, but secretaries probably aren't considered key employees.
Okay, but if they're their only employee?
I'd still probably say no, because once again, to be a jerk about things, you can replace a secretary fairly easily.
Okay.
The business doesn't rely upon them.
All right. I just want to push a little bit. See.
Sure.
All right. Anything else?
That's about the most I can think of here. That's it.
Yeah. So just remember, you can't deal linear. Great grandfather, great grandmother, grandfather, grandmother, father, mother, you, your spouse, your kids.
The kids' spouses.
The kids' spouses.
The grandkids.
Yeah, the grandkids. No.
But the interesting thing in this day and age, pretty much everyone's been married once or twice. Stepkids aren't considered related.
Stepkids are not considered related.
Stepkids are not considered related. Step-parents are not considered related. Step-grandparents aren't considered related.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it?
Yeah, that affects a lot of people.
Yeah.
All right. That concludes our section on disqualified people. All right. On to section 22.